I'm not sure I'm going to share all things about pricing because that could be quite a long session, but a couple of key points that's relevant today. John, as you all know, one of my key focus areas is value. What value do you bring? How do you share that value? How do you explain that value, more importantly, so that people understand it? And obviously, as circumstances change, and they are changing dynamically at the moment, it really is important that you can justify the pricing that you need to charge. But it's also about focus for me. When everything's going well, you can do pretty much everything you want to do with your business. But when it's times difficult, you've got to focus on key areas. And as I said, for me, it's focus on value and focus on what generates the most margin. Where does the money come from? The old adage, show me the money. In terms of the value, it's about understanding how your customers perceive your value. Now, every customer will have their own perception of how that value is delivered to them. So you can't just assume everybody sees value in the same way. I'll give you an example. Some years ago, I was selling a product that was used to repair cars. It was more expensive than most of the competitors, but it required less labor content. So in high cost labor markets, it was very attractive. In Asia, not so much, because labor cost is very low. However, there were customers that had capacity issues. They needed to get more vehicles through their repair facility more quickly. So that product was attractive. Same feature, lower labor content, different benefit. So you have to think of context and how value is perceived. So what value do you bring? What's it worth in actual money? Show me the money. Also understand about what savings you make. What negative value do you help them avoid? And you must try and understand what that value of that negative value is. So if the negative value you help them avoid could be priced at £200, for example, then that's immediately you've brought £200 of the value, because that's money they haven't got to spend out. You need to capture that, quantify that, understand it. And in terms of focus on generating the margin, what are the products or what are services, products, combination of products and services that generate the margin? I don't mean the highest gross margin percentage or the highest amount of sales value. I mean, cumulatively, units sold times individual margin, where's 80% of margin come from? So not the highest price, not the highest margin percentage, but cumulatively, units times margin, where does the highest quantity of your gross margin come from? And you may have noticed that a lot of businesses that sell a range of products. I took part in a podcast recently, and one of the points that one of the guy interviewing me made was he'd noticed that a lot of white good retailers had actually stopped their no frills models, stopped selling them, because clearly they don't make high margin on those. They're very low margin. So they're focusing on selling a few high margin items because that's where the bulk of their profit comes from. So it's about understanding what drives the margin in your business and focus on those two things. So focus on value, focus on where the margin comes from. That's my summary.